Whoa. Okay. So I started a live stream. I do have a guest speaker coming. Oh, he reconnected. Let me put him
I
back.
went to I went to share the stream and it just cut me off.
Oh, okay. You went to send like the link?
Um, why is it not? 2 seconds. Why is it not letting?
Okay, excuse me, folks. We got a bit of technical difficulties here. Hold on a second. The two viewers, what's up? What's up, Toron Brown? How are things? I'm just waiting for my guest speaker to pop on. I think he's trying to send a link to people. So, hold on.
What's going on? Every time I try and share it, it keeps cutting me off.
All right,
For
yeah,
some reason.
I just forget about it for now.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll see it. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna answer this question. Pena versus Rocky early predictions. Juliana Pena's gonna win that, but I'm gonna do a video on that card um after this live stream where we're gonna discuss UFC 305. So I already talked about this card individually, but I promised my man Jim Shady that we were also gonna do a collab as well live, and I want to give him a chance to voice his opinions on the card. And if anyone else wants to do any like collab prediction videos, like let me know, hit me up. There'll be plenty to go around. But looking forward to this weekend. I mean, it's tomorrow. I mean,
So it is, yeah, so ready.
this fight took long enough to come to fruition. Here it is, and we're together going to talk about the main card. So, of course, we know the main event is Israel Adesanya and Dricus du Plessis. And then, of course, the co-main event, Kai Kara France versus Steve Urseg. And then we got Dan Hooker versus Matthias Gamrot, Rosenstrike versus Tai Tuivasa, and Li Jingliang versus Carlos Prates. So I'm going to kick it off to you, my man. What are your thoughts on the main card opener, the return of the Leech?
Um, to be honest, I don't really know who I'm picking for that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's been so long since we saw the Leech in action. I think the last time was it Daniel Rodriguez?
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
like
and
2 years ago.
yeah, and he looked really good in that fight. Like I thought he won it. But talking about this fight, anyways, I think it'll be a pretty close chess match. I feel um, like the Leech right now, it kind of tends to make his fights closer than they need to be.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there's a lot of fights where he should really be ahead of these guys that he's fighting, and it
Mm-hmm.
should be finishing a lot
Yeah.
more. Um, but I can, I don't know, I can kind of see him making it like just a lot closer than it needs to be. But I do think it will be a good fight. I just think it'll be made a lot closer than it needs to be. I think on paper, the Leech should win, but you know how it is. Like it sometimes doesn't really play up to his strengths as much as it should be. Um, but yeah, I can see this going to decision, and I can see it being really, really close. I think the Leech might edge it out, but I'm not too sure. How about yourself?
Yeah, in my like individual like prediction video, I was going with the Leech, but I didn't really know much about Prates, but I really started to do my research and just looking at the footage, man, and then considering that the Leech is coming off a devastating like spinal injury, hasn't fought in 2 years. It's really hard to trust him going into this fight, so I think I'm actually going to end up picking Prates instead. I think he is a way better striker. He's more technical. I mean, what makes it tricky is the Leech does have a good chin. He's never been finished before. And that toughness could carry him through the fight because Prates is a very young prospect. He's lacking in experience. So he could make mistakes in there trying to get the older, tough veteran out of there, and he could run into something. But I think he might go out there, show his composure. I think he can use his reach to his advantage. He's got really nasty kicks. I think he can chop down the legs of Li Jing Liang, hurt him to the body as well. Stay patient, keep that range, and just kind of pick him apart. So I think I'll go Prates, maybe by a decision. I mean, I could also see him knocking out Lee. I'm going to say
Yeah.
Prates by decision. Also, I did not realize that Prates is a former Glory kickboxer. Like, I
He
found
is?
that
I
when
didn't
he had,
know that.
yeah, I found that out when he had his interaction with Israel Adesanya, and he's like,
Oh yeah, 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 I saw
yeah,
that.
and
They
he's like,
fought
I
on the
fought,
same card.
yeah, the same card where he fought Pereira the first time, which is insane. So yeah, I think I'm gonna actually go with Carlos Prates. But I mean, imagine if the Leech wins after I originally picked him. I'll probably just still try to be slick and say, well, I actually did think the Leech was gonna win. Yeah. But now moving up the card, we got Jairzinho Rosenstrike versus Tai Bam Bam Tuivasa. Yeah, I got Rosenstrike winning this fight against Tai. Tai Tuivasa is washed. If this was maybe Tai Tuivasa like 2.5 years ago before the Surreal Gone fight, I might consider picking him to win, but he's just looking worse and worse every fight. And Rosenstrike hasn't shown any signs of diminishing at all. I think he already has a technical advantage on the feet. I think he's a much more cleaner striker than Tai Tuivasa. Tai has always been sloppy and reckless with his style, but now with him being a shell of his former self, I think he's even worse off. I think his chin is not as good. I think the damage he's taken in his career is adding up. And I think Rosenstrike will be able to piece him up and find a finish. I'm gonna pick Rosenstrike by TKO inside one round. What are your thoughts, Jim?
It's battle of the fat men, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
heavyweight MMA. Like,
Yep.
um, I'm thinking like the same as you, Rosenstrike. Um, just because when was Tuivasa the last one? Was it Derek Lewis?
Tuivasa or Ty's last win?
Uh, yeah, it was Derek
Yeah, it
Lewis,
was
wasn't
Derek
it?
Lewis,
And that was 2021, 22.
22. Yep.
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like after the Pavlovich fight, you could say, oh, right, okay, like he just got caught in the head. Like, he was like a deer in headlights in that fight. Like, he didn't expect that. Fair enough, it happens. But then he lost to Cyril Gan. No, wait, no, Cyril Gan was first in that fight, and then he lost to Pavlovich, and then he lost to,
Yeah.
and now it's just recently lost to Tybura, a fight which I think he should have won.
Mm-hmm.
And he like was winning, but I just feel like he was winning on the feet, but I feel like he just refuses to evolve. He refuses to build on his game. Like, I feel like he's kind of um like a what's his name? The Pulis. I feel like he's kind of like a Pulis type, where like he's too happy to just rely on the same style he's always had without trying to build the rest of his
Yeah.
game to complement that style. Like, you're not going to see Taito Ibasa coming in and like going for takedowns or trying to clinch up and like
Mm-hmm.
making it dirty. Like, he's just going to try and haymaker swing for you, like, and just hope to land. I feel like Rosenstrike is just a lot more crisp, a lot more technical on the feet. I know he gets a lot of slack and he gets called Frozen Strike, but like, he is a really good striker. And but I think the only person to knock him out is Francis Ngannou. I don't think he's been knocked out by anyone
No, I think
else.
Walcott finished him.
Oh yeah, so he did. So I just can't really see Ty winning. I hope Ty wins,
Me
but
too.
I don't bet with my heart anymore because it makes me sad, makes my bank account sad. So I'm going to go with Rosenstrike, either an early KO or a decision.
Okay. Yeah, those are my thoughts too. I didn't even see his fight with Marcin Tybura, but so I guess he was
Mhm.
actually winning that fight before he got taken down.
Yeah, it was like full wild, and it was like I think he cut Tabura open. I think he rocked him against the fence, and then as soon as Tabura got his hands on him, it was over.
Wow, he was close. It looked like he was close to winning that.
Yeah, he almost won. I was shouting at my telly. I was like, "Come on!" And then he lost, and I was quite sad.
That's a shame. Now moving up the main card, we got Matthias Gamrot versus Dan the Hangman Hooker. Who are
I'm
you
really
picking
excited
in
for that.
that fight?
Oh well, I keep going back and forth. I keep like one day I'll be like, oh, I think Mateus Gamrot is just going to take him down, wear him down, possibly submit him. But then the next day I could be like, oh yeah, but Dan Hooker's looked really good in his last few fights, and I feel like he's like kind of dug himself back out of the hole that he was in a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I think Hooker can like knock him out in the feet. I keep going back and forth. So what I think's going to happen, I think they're going to come out. They're going
Yeah,
to feel out on the feet. I feel like if Dan's going to win, he has to do it in like the first round. I feel like he's got to do it before Gamrot gets his hands on him, because like a lot of people hating Gamrot and call him Fluke something, I don't know, some stupid name when he's not.
yeah.
They keep saying he's like the king of
They call him
flukes.
like
I'm like,
Scamrod or something like that.
yeah, something like that. And I'm like, he's legit. The guy is legit. He's top level. I feel like a lot of his game is grappling heavy, and that's the one thing Hooker struggles with is grappling heavy guys. It beat Pules, but like that's Pules. That's a easy kind of style to beat as long as you know when to step back. So I can see them coming out. I think Dan's going to be swinging for the fences. I think he's going to know that in order for him to win, he's going to have to do it early. Because even if Gamrot takes him down and he gets back up, his energy is going to not be like it's a 3 round fight. He's not preparing for a 5 round fight, so his energy is going to dip faster.
Yep.
Um, so I feel like Dan's going to come out swinging for the hills. If he's going to win, he's got to try and time like a takedown or something, like one of Gamrot's takedowns, and like knee him or uppercut him, or just keep him off of him as long as possible. And I feel like as long as he can do that, he can win by knockout. But if he does if Gamrot does grab him, I don't know if I can see Dan getting back up. It can maybe survive to the next round, but at what cost? Like like his
Yeah.
stamina is going to die very quickly. Um, because you get Gamrot on top of you, you're not getting him off of you. Like not a lot of people can do that. So I can see. I feel like the most likely outcome is Gamrot gets a submission. But I would like for Dan to win by KO. But I'm going to put my official prediction as Gamrot submission.
Okay, yeah, I agree on the Gamrot pick, but I'm actually gonna pick him to win by a finish. I mean, I know Gamrot does have submissions in his arsenal, but
Mm,
I don't know. I just feel like his level of grappling, it's not like Islam like where Islam Makhachev
yeah,
out there subs almost everyone he takes down. Gamrot kind of reminds me of like a Marab. He has that kind of Marab
yeah,
kind of style in the lightweight division. I do agree that Dan does need an early finish because of Marab's style, because of the pace he pushes and the wrestling. And the longer the fight goes, the better it is for Gamrot, the worse it is for Dan Hooker. But yeah, I just think Gamrot's going to be able to impose his wrestling and just grind Dan Hooker out, drain the tank. And yeah, I just think every round he's going to take him down, control him, and win by decision. But I mean, Dan could potentially KO him because Gamrot is a bit shinny. He did get dropped by Benil Dariush. He got dropped by RDA. Armin Sarukian was able to stun him a few times, if I'm not mistaken. And Dan is a pretty lethal striker. And like you said, he's got to like time a perfect knee up the middle to chin Gamrot, which is very possible. But I can't if your only chance to win is like an early KO and your chances to win are slim the longer it goes on, I can't bank on you to win. So
yeah.
yeah, I think Gamrot's just gonna do what Gamrot does, and he's gonna maintain his top 5 position in the lightweight division and probably end up rematching Armin Sarukian for the interim title, but I am rooting though for Dan Hooker to win because I do like Dan.
Yeah,
I like
same.
his style more. And I mean, Jalen Turner actually had a lot of success against Gamrot, and the way he did against Gamrot, I mean, I could maybe see Dan having similar success, but I think with that fight, that was a short notice fight. I think Gamrot stepped up on short notice to take that one. He wasn't fully prepared. He probably wasn't at his best. This fight's like a full camp for him, so I think we might see a better Gamrot. Now heading into the co-main event, we got Kai Kara France versus Steve Urseg. What are your thoughts on that fight?
I don't like Steve Ersic. I don't. But can I win the fight? Yes. So I feel like I don't know. This might just be me diving into conspiracies a bit too much, but I feel like Erceg when he fought Pantoja, I feel like he knew this could possibly be his only chance. You know, he was lucky to get a chance in the first place. I feel like he had a lightning in the bottle performance, and he still lost the fight. Like John Jones versus Reyes, I feel like it might go to his head. Not saying it will. I know it's just like a conspiracy theory, but I feel like he might think, "Oh, I've like done so good against the champion. Like nobody else has done this good against him. I feel like I'm just going to run for everybody," and they might start to not train as hard, or the motivation might not be there, especially coming so close to his goal and falling short at the last hurdle. Um, I feel like that could be a factor. But conspiracy theories aside, I feel like Ersek's a better striker. I feel like he's the more crisp, polished striker. I don't feel like he has as much power, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like he's just a little bit more well-rounded, and on paper, I feel like he has like a really good chance. But I feel like his motivation might not be there, and if you're not motivated, Kai Kara France isn't the guy to be playing games with. Um, I feel like Erceg kind of his chin is kind of there to be hit, and Kai Kara France can hit like a truck. So I feel like Kai Kara France is going to knock him out or TKO him. Um, but I do feel like Erceg might prove me wrong, but I just feel like his performance against Pantoja was just like a lightning in the bottom moment. Um, and I don't think I can emulate it again. So my official prediction for that one is going to be Kai Kara France by TKO in the third round. That's a
Okay,
5 round fight, isn't it?
it's a 3 rounder.
3 rounder.
Yeah, those are all good points, though. I mean, I do see what you're saying that him having a close fight with Pantoja, a fight for the title, that could, I guess, make him overconfident or sap his motivation. We've seen this happen before to the likes of Dominic Reyes. Like, I heard somebody use this term, like post title fight hangover, basically, where fighters who
Yeah.
have close title fights, they come back, they're not the same, or they go on to lose their next fight when there's a lot of expectations on them. But I don't know, me personally, I kind of think the opposite will happen. I think, if anything, I think his motivation is just going to go through the roof in this one. I
Mm.
think his confidence is at an all-time high. I mean, I hope he's not like overconfident because you don't want to be
Yeah,
overconfident.
you don't want to be cocky.
Kai is a very dangerous guy, but I think he'll come in this fight confident. I think he'll come in motivated. And I think his height advantage will definitely play a factor. I mean, they're both really good on the feet. But I think Steve Urseg has slightly better combinations than Kai Kara France. And
Way better, yeah.
I think he can do good enough on the feet against Kai and maybe win a majority of exchanges. But also, Steve Urseg is very well rounded. Like, what people don't realize is he has good grappling. Like, I mean, a lot of people talk about his striking because he knocked out Matt Chanel, but what people don't know is he has 6 wins by submission. Now, I don't think he'll submit Kai Kara France, but I think he'll be able to get takedowns in close rounds, maybe get to the back of Kai Kara France, control him against the cage. And I'm going to say Steve Urseg will win a razor close decision in this one. But I could see a world where Kai Kara France goes out there and shins him. I'm definitely rooting for Kai Kara-France to win. I mean, I thought that he arguably won his last fight against Amir Albazi, and I wouldn't
Yeah,
mind seeing Kai fight for the belt again against Pantoja. I mean, I also wouldn't mind seeing Steve rematch Pantoja either because he also did really well. I think both guys have a good chance to beat the current champion. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say Steve will walk away with this one in a close
and
decision.
Steve is a much better grappler, I'd say as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if he's smart, he'll implement that. I think he'll use that to his advantage. But if he doesn't grapple, then I think Kai has a very good chance to win this one, like purely striking. But because
Yeah.
Steve Osteg is bigger, he's got the attributes advantage and has just more ways to win. I'm gonna bank on him to get the job done.
Yeah. He looked pretty good, like against Pantoja. He looked better on the ground against Pantoja
Oh
than
yeah,
most people. Like I don't think Roy Val looked that good on the ground. I think
he just survived.
Moreno looked pretty good on the ground, but I think Erceg looked a bit better. I feel like he was a bit better at getting back to his feet and stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, Moreno got controlled a lot easier, and so did Brandon Royval. But
You know,
now,
I think it's like because
yeah,
he's so tall and skinny, like you can hold him, but there's nothing to hold on to.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Him being long and wiry definitely would make him a little bit tricky when getting a hold of him.
Yeah, and I can
Uh,
speak from experience. Like being long and skinny works. Yeah,
it helps you in the training room, right?
yeah, it does a lot.
It's kind of weird because sometimes they'll say the lower center of gravity is really good when it comes to defending takedowns, but I mean, would you say that's the case, or do you say being taller is actually better?
Mm, I feel like being smaller is definitely better for defending takedowns, but I feel like being long and skinny is like better for not being held down.
Right,
If that
because
makes
you got
sense.
those long limbs and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like there's nothing for people to hold on to when they grab me because I'm so skinny. I can just like wriggle out of stuff and like they can't hold me because there's nothing to hold.
That makes sense. Uh, Now, moving on to the main event. I know you've been excited to talk about this one, so I'm going to give the floor to you, and I want you to give us your thoughts on the main event between Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya.
A lot of people are going to be crying on Sunday morning, and it's not going to be Izzy. He's going to get that one back. So the whole time this fight has been um, rumored before it was even confirmed to be happening. Back when they first started talking to each other, even before they even had beef, I've been saying if they two were to ever fight, Israel Adesanya would destroy him. And like when I say that, a lot of people like try and say, "Oh, favoritism, favorite." I'm like, no, it's not favoritism. So I know, I don't know. I just feel like what's his name, Drickus. Forgot his name for a second. I feel like he's just Paulo Costa, but a little more refined, but a bit more retarded at the same time. So I don't know if I can say that on your video.
I mean, it's
That's
fine.
fine.
Hopefully, my video doesn't get demonetized, but it's all
Oh
good.
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no. So I feel like um, Izzy's like tailor made to beat Drickus' style 9 out of 10 times. I feel like when you look at Izzy, when you look at his fights, the best performances he's ever had is when someone's coming at him like a bull. Look at Rob. Look at Alex. Look at um, Costa, Gastelum. Like when people are coming towards Izzy, he's destroying people. And like I see an argument like, oh yeah, but Strickland came towards him, and I'm like, yeah, but Strickland is like a defensive genius while he's coming forward. Um, sorry, so like Drickus isn't that. Drickus is there to be hit, and if Izzy can hit you, Izzy can put your lights out. So like Drickus is he's a cocky. I don't like him. He's a cocky bastard, man. I feel like he's just so up his own ass. He's just thinks he's better than he is. I feel like he got lucky to get the decision against Sean, and I feel like Izzy's going to put him in his place. I feel like Drickus is going to be panic shooting, I feel like Izzy's just gonna like nobody can hold Izzy down. Who's ever held Izzy down apart from Jan?
He always gets up.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. People are like, oh yeah, but Marvin Vettori had his back. And I'm like, yeah, but what did Marvin Vettori do with his back? Nothing. Um, yeah, just and like again, there's like emotional Izzy, angry Izzy is the best Izzy there's ever been. Like all of his best knockouts, they come from him having beef with somebody. Look at Derek Brunson, um, Robert Whittaker again, Alex Pereira again. Like I know he didn't get it done in the first MMA fight, um, but he was definitely winning that entire fight and just got a little bit unlucky at the end. Just like the two kickboxing fights, Alex Pereira is not better than Israel Adesanya at all. Don't care what anybody says. Israel Adesanya is a way better fighter.
Agreed.
Does he beat him again? Probably not, because he's an absolute monster. But he's not the better fighter. Um, I feel like Dricus is just going to run out there like a street fighter. He's going to like come. He's going to be like, "Oh, give me my lunch money, man," and like Israel's going to step back and pop him with like a sniper right hand. It's going to put him down. I don't know if he'll finish him right enough because Dricus is as durable as they come. Got to give him his props. He's durable. He's game. He's tough. He
Of
doesn't back
course.
down. But I feel like if he doesn't go out, Israel's just going to punish him for 5 rounds, get that belt back, and a lot of people across the world are going to be crying on Sunday morning, and I will not be. Um, I'll be sleeping a happy man. I go, oh, thanks for the 50 quid, is it? Yeah, that's my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you're right because I'm a fan of Israel Adesanya, but I don't know. I'm worried about this fight. I mean, not even just the dangers that Dricus du Plessis brings to the table, but even the fact that I know you mentioned that usually Izzy does his best when he's emotional, but I feel like there's a lot more riding into this fight than the Paulo Costa fight, than the Alex Pereira fight, and even the Derek Brunson fight. Because with Brunson and Costa, that was more just like minor competitive banter. Like the rivalry he had with them was just you think you're better than me? No, I'm better than you, and I'm gonna prove myself to be a better fighter than you. I think that's more what it was. Even with Alex, just I have to beat this guy. This is my 8 Mile moment. But so much is riding into this when it comes to the whole, real African champ talks, and then even Dricus made him cry at the presser. And what I'm worried about is going in like, is coming in with pressure of I have to beat this guy. I cannot let him win because of the things that he said. And the fact that he even cried at the presser just kind of it worries me a bit because Dricus is not a kind of it's not the guy that you want to go in there like mentally deterred against or super emotional against. Like Izzy really needs to channel his emotions in the right way and not go out there and fight emotionally because that's what Dricus du Plessis wants. Um,
He's
but
a
even
pussy.
like aside, Dricus is definitely one of Israel's like most dangerous opponents because he's dangerous on the feet. He's got knockout power, but then he's well rounded. He can mix it up. He can take you down, but on the ground, he's got good ground and pound. His submission skills are good. So there's like a lot that Izzy would have to look out for. And I don't know, even Dricus du Plessis also got like underrated fight IQ as well. Like he's a very smart fighter, very good at game planning for fights, and there's like a lot of tape on Israel Adesanya, given the fact that he's been such a dominant champ. Like he's got that champ experience, which could be an advantage, but also a bit of a disadvantage too. And his style, it may have been figured out as shown in that Sean Strickland fight, but I will stick with my Israel Adesanya prediction. But I could see a world where Dricus du Plessis goes out there and is able to kind of bully Israel with his physicality and with his grappling. But the issue is, we've seen many times Israel Adesanya has fought guys who he's fought everything that makes Dricus dangerous. Izzy has experience dealing with. He's fought the brawlers. He's fought the knockout artists, guys who have the threat of knocking him out. He's fought many guys with grappling, guys who are trying to take him down. And he's done well against all of those styles. I mean, there's a reason why they call him the last style bender. And I don't think it's because he's necessarily well rounded or great everywhere, but it's because he's good at dealing with any kind of style you throw at him. And he's fought the
Yeah.
best strikers like Alex Pereira. So I do think he has what it takes to beat Dricus. I do think that he does have a technical advantage. He's got good footwork. I think he's faster than Dricus du Plessis. And even though Dricus, I would say, is more dangerous than Sean Strickland, I still don't think, I think style wise, in a weird way, he's more tailor made for Izzy to beat than Sean was because, like you said, he doesn't have the greatest defense. I mean, he can be patient in his fights, but when he does get going, he's very open. He can be very vulnerable. His head is right there on the center line. He's always closing his eyes, ducking his head,
Yeah,
turning.
like Darren Till fucked him up on the feet.
Yeah, which I don't like that. And also, one thing I want to point out is I do
Darren
think,
Till's a god though.
yeah, I think there's one thing I want to point out is Dricus does keep a high guard and his body is open. And I could see Israel Adesanya having a field day with body shots, teeps to the body, like jabs to the body. If he's smart, he's going to constantly target that body to drain the tank. I know Sean Strickland had a good like game plan of checking leg kicks, and surely Dricus will be prepared for those low kicks. But I just have a feeling that in this fight, Izzy's going to be able to use his leg kicks like he normally does in every fight, and they're going to be effective. Leg kicks, body strikes. I think the jab is going to be there for Israel Adesanya to land. And I know Dricus du Plessis was able to outstrike Whitaker and finish him on the feet, but we know Adesanya is a better striker than Robert Whitaker. He's a lot more trickier to deal with. And yeah, I know that he also was able to beat Sean Strickland by decision. He went 5 rounds, he struck with him. But the thing is about Sean is he throws a jab, but he doesn't follow up behind the jab. He doesn't really counter when you pressure him. He just kind of brawls with you when you try to pressure him. It's jab, jab. If you get too close, okay, I'm going to swing with you. Adesanya doesn't do that. Adesanya is an accurate sniper. He is a clean counterpuncher. I think he can land those jabs like Strickland did, but I think the moment that Dricus du Plessis steps into range and gets too aggressive, I think Israel Adesanya can catch him with that vintage arch back, left hook, right hook combo that he landed on Whitaker and Pereira. I think he can land that on Dricus. But then also the tricky thing is, usually when he does that, that's how guys are able to time takedowns on him. So that is something that Izzy's going to have to look out for. Like he has to make sure that I don't know how to say this, but like he can't just blindly try to throw that combination. He's got to make sure that the target is right there because a level change could be coming. I don't know if that like makes sense, but that's how Whitaker was able to time takedowns. That's how Jan was able to time takedowns, and I could see Dricus timing takedowns through that. Um, it's a tricky fight to call, and it is a dangerous fight for both guys. And I can easily see a world where Dricus wins, but I guess how I see this fight playing out is I think Dricus will try to come out early, patient. I think he'll try to feel Izzy out early. Izzy will do the same. But I can see Izzy just baiting it. I can just see Izzy baiting him to coming forward recklessly, like landing a lot of jabs from the outside, a lot of body shots, using a lot of feints. And Dricus du Plessis does react to feints heavy. So I could just see Izzy kind of drawing Dricus out of his game plan in the early rounds and catching him where he might be at his most vulnerable, which I do think are the early rounds. I think the late rounds, Dricus actually fights a lot better than he does early, and Izzy kind of coasts as the fight goes on. But I think within those first 2 rounds, it's going to be the most dangerous for du Plessis. And I'm going to boldly predict that Israel Adesanya will be able to find a shot and finish Dricus du Plessis. Also, he's been trained to land that knee down the center, and Dricus is always dipping his head, so that knee could be right there. And even
I
though,
love a knee up the middle.
yeah, and even though Dricus is really good on the ground and his ground game could be a factor, Adesanya's been training with Craig Jones for a year, He's also had Damian Maya in his camp too, so he's prepared to defend himself on the ground. And his takedown defense is already so good, especially against the cage. His takedown defense is good. Like if Dricus is going to take him down, he's got to take him down in the center of the octagon. But I think Izzy will be prepared to defend takedowns, fight on the ground if he needs to, and get back to his feet. And I think this will primarily be a striking match. I think Izzy can pick him apart, and I think Izzy can also snipe him. But I will not be surprised if Dricus wins. But I think if Izzy can just stay within himself, keep his composure, doesn't let the emotions get to him the way Dricus wants, and if Izzy's not washed up, if he's still the same Izzy we know and love, well, I know most people hate him now, but if he's that
They're
Izzy,
stupid. They're all sheep. They're sheep. They're
exactly
followers.
that Izzy that we all have seen throughout the years dominating the middleweight division, then I think he should be able to get it done. I think on a good night, skill for skill, Izzy is better. And I'm not saying Dricus is a bad fighter. I think he's proven himself to be good, but I think Izzy is good enough to beat Dricus du Plessis. And I think we're in for a three-peat system reset and new 3X, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna find out tomorrow, and I can't wait. And this is one of the things I love about this sport is MMA. Anything can happen.
Exactly. And as Israel, he has to. Oh, he has to shut them up, man. He has to. All
Does
these cheap, all these people that hate him, they're going to be loving him on Sunday morning. Well, Saturday night for you, Sunday morning for me. Like, this is a bit off topic, but like all the dog stuff and all that is blown way out of proportion. That is a load of
yeah,
crap. There's like people saying that he, you know, does that to his dog. Load of crap.
yeah, and even just like the stuff with the servants, like I even was told that um having like servants or housekeepers, it's common, I think, in
It is.
Nigeria.
I
So
have some Nigerian friends.
they're not treated like slaves or they're not treated poorly. It's like common housekeeping, basically.
My
Uh,
coach has a maid. One of my coaches has a maid, and he's not rich. He has a
mhm.
maid. So
And he has a maid.
people, yeah, he's not rich or anything. He's just a normal working class guy.
Yeah. I don't know why people look at that and be like, wow, is he so bad because maybe he grew up rich or um, he had servants? Like,
And the whole real African champ thing makes no sense because either
mm,
way, they're both still African. Before
yeah.
the fight, they're African. After the fight, they're still going to be African.
Yeah, I just think this whole thing is stupid. I mean, I know people say that Izzy started it, but he didn't. Dricus is the one who started it. He's the one who ran his mouth, and Izzy had every right to be pissed off. Maybe he could have handled it a little differently, but it's fighting. This is the UFC, um, where
They're
we
all a
see
bit crazy.
all the time, so they have a chance to go out there and settle it.
I know they're all a wee bit crazy. If you want to be a fighter, you've got to be. They
Exactly,
don't think rationally like normal people.
exactly.
So I'm looking forward to it. I feel like the promotion stuff hasn't really been that great, but I've been really I've been excited for the main event this whole time. But the rest of the card I've completely forgot about until like maybe a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, the other fights I'm not really. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm not excited for them, but obviously it's the main event where like I'm most looking forward to.
yeah, exactly. And I kind of need Israel to win. Get me. I've got some money on him. I won 50 quid if he wins. Um, just just so sick and tired of like MMA fan like bandwagoners like just hating who they get told to hate. And it's just like you'd be loving them. I know. I remember when Israel was like the most loved fighter in like 2018, 2019, and then
Uh,
everybody just switched after the Euro fight.
yeah, they
I
did.
was like, right, well, and then they started like nitpicking and finding reasons to hate him, and I'm like, just admit you didn't like the fight. The fight was boring. I'm not going to lie. The fight was the worst fight I've ever seen.
With
But
the Cannonier fight.
the Romero fight, it was
Oh
after
yeah,
that fight. People started looking for more excuses to hate him, and I'm like, just admit the fight was boring, and that's you don't like that, but you still Still need to hate him because of one boring fight. People still love you, Romero.
Exactly. I know he's had like a lot of fights that are not the most exciting to watch. But he does have it in him to be exciting. He does have it in him to get those like highlight reel finishes, and who
I know.
knows?
I'm just like,
Seeing that
why
in
risk it all
UFC.
when he has it all? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like when he had the belt, they're like, oh yeah, but oh he's talking about defending. Like he shouldn't have to like fight crazy and lose the belt. Yeah, he's right. He's got the belt. Why would he like fight crazy?
exactly.
Fans, they're very silly sometimes.
Yeah, MMA fans are the worst. I just can see what people are gonna say if Izzy wins. I mean, if Izzy loses, it's gonna be a mass celebration amongst the fans as usual. But if he wins, it's gonna be a lot of cope and people are a lot of the
People are
Sean
going to mention Alex
fans.
Pereira. They're going to be like, oh yeah, but Alex Pereira beat him. Like, who
Or
fucking
they'll bring up
cares?
Sean Strickland. They'll be like, "Oh, well, Sean will beat him again," which I mean, who knows? Well, that's a topic for another time. But they'll definitely be clinging on to Sean. All those Drickus fans will become Strickland fans, so they'll be grasping at whatever straws they want to grasp at.
Don't like fans.
But in the end, it won't matter if Izzy wins this fight. Like, no matter what happens next, I mean, I hope to God he won't lose his next title defense after. But even if he does, or whatever happens, as long as if he gets wins over Drickus and Pereira at least that one time, I mean, I feel like for me as an Izzy fan, those wins would be wins I'd be content with, like for the rest of his career. Like he got back the Pereira one, he got to beat one of his biggest rivals um, in one of the most important fights of his career when his back was against the wall. So yeah, that'd
I
be a
know.
perfect
I'm
thing.
excited.
Yeah, me too. Let me check out some of these comments. Let me see. Well, one guy is like, why did Chandler adopt so many black kids? What do you guys think of Roundtree and Pereira? I'm going to talk about that in another video, like after this live. But
It's just a street fight.
yeah, what do you? Okay, read these comments. Are you actually serious about Aldana smoking Nunes in a rematch, or are you just posting it to troll Tina?
I
Aldana
can't tell either. I don't know. I really don't.
Aldana smokes her in a rematch. Like, if you
Like,
don't think that, you know nothing about the sport. She's the better fighter. She had an off night. Nunes got lucky.
fair
That's all
enough.
there is to it.
I
If they fight not,
always see you posting it. I always
yeah,
see you posting it, and I'm like, I don't know if this guy's being serious or if he's trolling. Fair enough. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna dispute that because I don't know anything about women's MMA really. I know you're the guy to speak to about women's MMA.
of course, I'm a woman's.
You predicted Grasso to become champ, so I can't doubt any Pena as
Yeah,
well. I can't doubt anything you say
I'm
about
gonna be
women's
right about
MMA.
Flores too.
Yeah. What do you think about the rubber match? I think it's maybe a bit pointless.
What rubber match?
Um, Valentina and Grasso.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can see why they're doing it because the second fight was a draw, so I guess it's warranted to do. I guess it's warranted to do another fight between them to get it a clear winner to close out the rivalry. But
Then
yeah,
it's
I
I
would
think it's
rather
gonna
the division move on. I'd like to
yeah
see
because if
Grasso against
Valentina wins, they're gonna do a fourth fight and it's just gonna be a load of shite again.
what you said. If Val wins, they'll just be a fourth fight.
Yeah, it'll be like Moreno versus Figgy, except Moreno
Yeah,
versus Figgy was actually good.
and ain't nobody trying to see that again.
Yeah, I know. It's like if we did Connor versus Dustin for like, I love Connor, I love Dustin, but no, thank you.
Yeah,
I've seen enough in that trilogy to know Dustin was probably just going to do the same thing in the next round, anyways.
of course. Now, so closing out this live stream now. Are there any like social media plugs you want to make or any shout outs?
Carter Smelly, slick striking, and I'll give someone else. Joe Knight. There you go.
Okay, well, thank you for joining me today on the stream to predict
Anytime.
fights
Anytime.
tomorrow. And yeah, we'll definitely go live again at some point to talk about other fights. And yeah, hit that subscribe button if you guys haven't already, and peace out.